went straight past it. And the healing and the mediumship.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening to everybody at home. As you can see, there's a slight change. We're a medium down, so he could walk in the door any minute. If it does, then it will all change. But until then, you've got me, I'm afraid. So thank you all for coming on this very warm evening. It's lovely to see all these some new faces for me as well. Yes. Yes, so tonight, I can tell you, your medium will be the lovely Nick Brown.
Hello.
So you're in for a good one. There's a couple of messages. This Sunday, in the little room, is the workshop. It's £15 and it includes lunch, but you all bring a bit for the table. It's the pagan way of doing it. You all bring a gift for the table. Yeah, it's from... yeah, 10:30 till 3:30. And I think they have anything from about half an hour to an hour for break for lunch.
Yeah.
Which you'll probably need because it's going to be sweltering warm. And then the following Sunday, we've got the drumming and healing circle in that room.
No. Eileen's.
Oh, the following Sunday.
Eileen's. It's at Eileen's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's at Eileen's. Trouble is, I've got it off all on pat. Yeah, okay, it's at Eileen's. It's in our garden, which is lovely. And if the weather's like this, it'll be absolutely glorious. What we're doing is there's no charge for it. If you come along, I'll put the address on the Facebook page and on the church page. I won't put her address on the church page, but anybody can contact me or Nick and get the address. But it will be on the drumming site because she's already put it on anyway. And sorry?
Chat group.
Yeah, so there again, you can either bring your own picnic or you can bring something to the table again and we'll have a really good time. So that should be really, really good. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think there's any other messages.
Just about the 2nd of August.
Oh, yes, 2nd of August. In here, 12 till 4. We've got an open day. And there's loads going on. There's loads going on. We've got the mediums, we've got the healing, We've got loads of stalls. Oh, sorry. And food. And we'll have a few new faces come to see us as well on the day, I believe, which will be quite nice. So if you'd like to come along and support us, we've got Barry doing his crystal healing, and that is something else. Right, as usual, we will open this service in prayer. So, Nick, thank you.
Good evening, friends. Good evening. Let's join together for just one moment and state, Great Spirit, divine universal source of all, we thank you. We thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under a banner of love, of hope and friendship, to witness your proof and your truth that life is indeed eternal. As we open this service and dedicate this space to your name, we make that statement as ever, that everything we do will be in love, in truth and light, and only for good. And ask that the veil be lifted, that our loved ones might draw close, that they might push forward and through to show that life eternal. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. As you can see, we're missing out the philosophy. Hang on. Oh, you didn't see that at home, did you?
Yeah, we did. Do it again if you want.
So I'll just do my reading and get on with it. Hopefully I'll get this right. Well, another heat wave is coming, and yes, I hear some moan. This is British weather. It's the place that we call home. Not enough rain. It's far too hot. It's the British summer, in case you all forgot. Winter will come soon enough, and some will moan again. How many times have we heard them? How do we make it plain? Well, instead of sitting moaning, be grateful for the change. The seasons are so beautiful. Our lives we can rearrange. We can adapt to all the seasons, as we do in all our lives. Like the weather, things can test us, but we adapt and we survive. So always look on the bright side. Kick those niggles into touch. Trust and love is all we need. It will improve life all so much. So with that, I'm going to hand you over. Oh, it's a healing. Oh, God. I will welcome Tony. I got a terrible, for those at home who couldn't see it, I've got a terrible black look from my husband. So I'd like to welcome to the front to lead you all in the healing. And I think he needs my...
You can have mine.
Oh, you can have Nick's, that's all right. To lead you all in the healing, so thank you.
I was going to say what an introduction, but there wasn't. But never mind. He's only been coming here 10 years and still can't work out the order of service, but never. You'll get it right eventually, won't you, darling?
It's hot, blame it on the weather.
Okay, it's hot. Names from the healing book. When the time comes, please put your mind to it and send some healing to the following: Janet, Joan, Ian and Kathleen, Jen and Ian, Trace and Mike, Sherry Ann and Yogi, and Celtic Rose and Wayne. So there we are. So quite simply, as it is every week, if you would like to receive some healing, please raise your hand. If you're prepared to give some healing, go to where there's a hand raised, please. Okay. All settled, yes, jolly good. Just a few words from me, as ever. Great Spirit, would you please send your healing power down through these healers to the recipients who've asked for it? And at the very same time, please protect our healers from anything they don't want to receive. Healers, do your worst and do it now.
divine source of the universe and great creator. Here we bring unto you all those listed in all the healing books throughout the land. Be they sick in mind, body, spirit, or soul, that it may please thee to heal them, those we know, those we do not know, those that have no one to ask for them, we ask for them now. Those we know, those we do not know, those that have no one to ask for them, we ask for them now. Be they sick in mind, body, spirit, or soul, that it may please thee to heal them, those we know, those we do not know, those that have no one to ask for them, we ask for them now. We ask for them now.
Thank you, healers. If you can just pull yourselves back, say the thank yous to who you need to. And as I say every week, thank you to those of you who asked. We'd feel very foolish if you didn't.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you all of the healers. And like Tony said, thank you for those that you asked, that have asked. Now, if I've got my brain into gear, we are going to have an unexpected surprise of Nick doing our healing, doing our mediumship. It's the weather. Do I care? So please welcome, for a wonderful night of mediumship, for your friend and my friend, Nick Brown.
And of course, we do send our thoughts out to Daniel wherever he is and whatever he's up to, bless his heart. Thank you, Madam Chair, for proving that it ain't as easy, is it?
I wasn't prepared.
You're going to say, I think she's done rather well considering she got 5 minutes notice, eh? You're absolutely right. We did cut out the philosophy, and I'm not going to change my mind on that. Because when it comes to stepping into mediumship at the last minute, you want to put all your effort and energy into doing that. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Bear in mind, though, however, not everybody in this room has actually seen me work, which is brilliant. It's nice. It makes my life easier. Should I come to you, please answer in a clear voice. Yes, no, don't know. Don't feed the medium, he'll bite your hand off. And of course, one of the most important things for me and the way I work is it's not always verbal. Keep an eye on my, I get to use a fancy word here. I love this word. Keep an eye on my gesticulations. What else can you say? You don't need to put your glasses on, love.
It's one of them nights.
Yeah, I think we'll just let the front row run the service. My physical movement and posturing can quite often reflect the person that is impressing themselves against my auric field. So I might make a movement or a gesture or stand in a funny position, and quite often they will use that. I don't always notice, so I don't always bring attention to it. But keep an eye out for things like that. But most importantly, be reminded, I do like a little bit of humour and upliftment, so I will be with upliftment and laughter when I can, but also I'll be serious when I have to be. One of the things that you tend to find when you're getting ready to sit is you tend to start getting into the zone and thinking about doing the work. But when you're part of a church, you're like, this is the hard one. This is the one where you're kind of worrying. You're worrying about, you know, who's where, who's doing what, what's going on. But one of the joys of this wonderful group that we have is that I don't ever have to worry about things like that, because everyone just steps in, steps up and does what they need to do. Even if they do cheer when we say there's going to be no philosophy, you know, go figure. So moving into that, the irony is usually with the philosophy, we start around about 8:10 on the mediumship. Well, guess what? It's now 8:10. So as I say that, I'm going to start picking on people. I might get drawn to you. I might throw it out. But yes, of course. If you wonder, I've not brought my long distance glasses with me, and that was a trouble to me. But then I realised that I very rarely use them when I'm working as a medium anyway. If I need help from spirit, I use these ones. These are the glasses that I wear when I want to see spirit. I put them on, and suddenly the whole overlay is the spirit world. Really good. 50 quid from Spooksavers. May I come to you? See, you weren't expecting that. As I link in for and with and through and to and all of the other fancy words that we mediums use, I'm being instantly, thank you, she's back. There was a lady, she got really, really impatient actually. She was the first one through. And as I was sitting there, I know I was joking about, you know, you sit there worrying. No, I had somebody waiting. She was there. She was the kind of person who was always in like a bolt, ready to get started, ready to get going. And she was there. Of course, I'm standing there ranting and raving and doing my usual bit. She got bored and wandered off, and it was like, okay, I'll come back when you're done, dear. And I do feel that this is her kind of personality, that she was always the one that you could rely on, the one that would be there straight away to help and support and give guidance and assistance. But she didn't tolerate being ignored. And I feel this with her. Now, as she gets closer, when she was coming in, I felt a tightness around the back of my head. Now, I don't know whether that was a physical condition that she felt or whether it was literally that she had her hair pulled back in a really, really strict bun. One or t'other, don't know which. I just know that I felt it there. Oh, hello, here we go. If I look on the floor, I'm just making sure I'm not standing in a hole. Because when they come and impress themselves close onto me, I can feel myself taking on their shape and size. So I know that I am shrinking right now, and I always have to double check that I've not accidentally stood in a hole. So I feel that she would have, depending on the size of the hole, yeah, okay, I would have feel that she would have probably been around about here on me. I know that she was a lot more svelte than me, but then most are. Especially in recent weeks, you know, I blame the heat as well. But she's not coming across in any one particular kind of relationship. I feel that she was many things to you. So either she was a motherly figure who was a little bit distant, or a friend who was more like a motherly figure. Would any of that make sense to you so far? One of two people, right? We've nailed that down from 8 billion down to 2, so we're doing all right. So as she comes coming, right, okay. I've noticed that as I've been standing, I've been quite, my posture, my position, and she's loving the fact that I'm smartly dressed, but she would have insisted that I wore a tie even in this weather. So I know she was a lady of formality, and there's, as I rub my hands here, I can feel that she would have worn jackets, but they would have been softer fabric. And she actually just took the mick and said, and it would have been not the cheap kind of material that you're wearing, Nick. So I know that she liked the nice things, the finer things, but she also had quite that's the word I'm looking for, exacting standards. Does that narrow it down, or is it still two, or have I just lost both of them? Still two. Okay. I don't know whether it's singing or the song or the name, but I keep hearing, that song, Maria, Ave Maria, dum, 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 you're insane and out of your mind. That song. I keep hearing that song being repeated, so there's something to do with the name Maria that would connect somewhere. And that feeling, that pulling on the back of my head's now coming back. So she's getting a little bit irate with me for not listening to her properly. So I know that if people didn't take... Oh, that's all right then. So she also used to rattle around the kitchen a lot. Actually, no, the fact that I didn't even notice. Would you understand that one of them had hearing problems? And that if you were sneaking behind her, you'd get away with it. But if you were in front of her, she had eyes like a hawk. And in actual fact, that expression you're pulling now, that one there, she's highlighting that as important and significant with her. So would you understand that one of them was a bit of a frowner? Would you also understand that when it comes to your attitude towards this way of life, and in particular the healing, she was quite influential in terms of your attitude. I'm not saying that it was for the good or the opposite, but she had very strong opinions on it. Right, okay, well, I'll declare victory in... Pardon? Right. Right, so that was the last bit of information that veered it on to the one individual, yeah? Okay, so we've identified her. Okay, so you would understand that this lady that's stepping forward was quite a strength and a tower of strength. I'm looking around and I'm seeing that we've got 3 boxes of tissues, and she's just standing there. She says, why do you need 3? Why do you need 3? Why would you need 3? And so she didn't like waste, but she also didn't think that people necessarily displayed the strength that they had, and that they were stronger than they actually were, but sometimes we allowed ourselves to not be that strength. And so that this again kind of loops back on her exacting standards at a rather, I wouldn't say, I think bullish would be unfair. I think brusque would be understating it. I want to be somewhere in the middle with that kind of attitude. But it was always done with a level of compassion, which is why she would get away with it with many people, not everyone. She's wanting to know that she's over the moon, that you have learnt. So she's taking a lot of responsibility with you. She's saying, you learnt your lessons well. And I feel as she said that, would you also understand that there was something about either her teeth or her speech? Because I keep feeling the corner of my lip pulling up. It's almost like I keep feeling a pull here. So I don't know if there's something. It's just, yeah. Well, there's something about the way she spoke and the way I feel like it's pulling here, almost like I've been caught on a fish hook or something like that. But it was just something that I noticed as she was speaking, which is you learnt your lessons well. And she wants you to know that she's very impressed by the fact that you've been listening to her. Also, there was a different side to her, this side of her that says, I didn't think people listened to me. For all the bravado and all of the strength that she displayed, she was actually quite emotional and not necessarily as certain of herself as she impressed herself to be. And she just wants you to know that it's okay to not always be 100% confident all the time. She says, even, and the posture is everything. She says, even I struggled sometimes. And it's a way of just letting you know that she's watching, she's listening, and she's there to support you. But please take her love and know that you're allowed to not be 100% confident 100% of the time, even by someone like her. I'll leave her love with you and say God bless. And have a quick rinse.
I've got some water in case you want anything.
May I come to you? You know, this is one of the fun parts of being a medium is when you say, can I come to you? And it's a case of, me? There's got to be somebody else behind me. No, there isn't. May I come to you? Thank you. As I made as I started linking in, I was aware of this. Okay. I was aware of a gentleman stepping forward. And as he steps forward, I'm having a bit of difficulty getting used to him coming in. He's coming in quite well and quite strong, but I do know with him there was an overpowering sense of uncertainty and dizziness as he's coming in. It's almost as though as soon as he come in, like a bull in a china shop, there was this instant feeling of being very unsteady on my feet. I know that I was quite dizzy, and I know what I want to say, but I wasn't able to say it. So I feel that this would relate to, thank you. It's starting to, as soon as I start to say why it is, it starts to go. That's usually a good sign. I feel that this would relate to the condition that he was experiencing just before he passed. It would be in relation to his past. And so being very unsteady on his feet, trouble speaking, trouble expressing himself. And yet he was still this strong and powerful force to be reckoned with. I do feel a very paternal connection towards you. So that would be fatherly, grandfatherly. And I know that I'm quite, it's really nice when they're taller than you. It gives you extra. I know this gentleman would have been a little bit taller than me. He'd have certainly been a lot stronger and broad around the shoulders. He also had a good sense of humor, because as I said about the broad shoulders, he said, yeah, I was more of an upside down triangle rather than wider at the bottom. Would that make sense? Okay. Because he's having a bit of fun with me, because I don't mind them taking the mick out of my physical, but that was important to say, the upside down triangle rather than, the things they make you say. This gentleman he's so overjoyed to see you smiling. I think the reason, no, I don't think, he's given me a right old runaround, I'll tell you that much. He says, you don't think, because it's me that's thinking. Come on. He says, how long have you been doing this? And so he would get very much involved with things, get to know people, get to know ways things worked, but also have a good laugh with them and not take things too seriously in that way. And this is why he's, took the mick out of, I think He's coming in with that humor. He's coming in with that strength and determination and that real sense of, I've got to say, he's the kind of bloke that you could lean up against in a pub and drink all night and learn everything about him, and then 2 nights later do it again and still spend the whole night learning something new about him, because there's just so much to him. I feel like no matter how much I say about him, I'll only be scratching the surface. But I do know that the surface is completely covered with a huge sense of enjoyment at seeing people, in particular you, smile. That's really important to him. I do feel that he would have been around at a time, or he's been watching, I would say, at a time when there's been a lot of not that. And so to see you laughing and smiling in reference to him makes his day. That's not to say that he was always this loud and joyful character. There was, I feel in connection with him, almost a sense of austere mystery about him. It's almost, I know I said you could hear loads and loads and loads about him and still not scratch the surface. But I do know that there were, when you were sat there and you sat like this, he went, oh, she takes after me. And it's almost as if to say there's this enigmatic level of hidden mystery about this gentleman. That people on the outside who didn't know him very well wouldn't have necessarily understood. I feel that, you know, if you were in his inner circle, that was never a problem. But certainly if he were to come somewhere like here and meet someone like me, there would be an awful lot that was locked off, that he wouldn't share until he was comfortable. Trust was something really important with this gentleman. It had to be earned rather than just given freely. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because would you understand that your sense of morality in terms of trust and letting people in is very much coming down from his connection, his side, his way of thinking? Would you understand that you're an awful lot like him in that way? If it's a no, it's a no, but if I reword it slightly different, when it comes to letting people in, you take after him. Yeah, there we go. So once you reword it and turn it into a sentence rather than a novel, sometimes it makes more sense. That's me for you through and through. But he's just made up to be able to just make you jump and make you smile and make you, you know, work in terms of, he's aware, I'm aware, obviously, because I come here every week, that you're involved with the healing. He's made up about that. And he says, I could, oh bless him, he says, I could have done with some of that. And there's this real sense of resoluteness in terms of the way he says, I could have done with some of that. And it's almost as in this knowing way that he knew more about his physical condition than he was letting on. But that's just people for you. We don't always tell everything, do we? But he just wants you to carry on being adventurous and smiling and laughing and dancing. Dancing's really important. There we go. As soon as I mentioned dancing, he was like, yes, dancing's really, really important. So I have to give that to you. Also, I'm not wearing my glasses. So if I squint at people, I'm not being rude. It's just that I'm trying to see. But he keeps drawing me to what you're wearing around your neck, and I can't actually see it. Oh, there you go. He says there's some significance with that in terms of your work and your healing. It's right, okay, he's talking about the fact that I can't see it. It's symbolic. It's very hidden. It's very natural. It's very, very discreet and subtle, but you can't help but not notice it. So keep up the good work. He will be there watching and helping if he can in any way. You would also understand that you've got an important date coming up in August, but I also want to jump back to April. And there's something about April just gone. So I will leave his love with you, say thank you for listening. And when it comes to giving a message to someone who's been coming here years, trust me, I was more terrified than you when I said, can I come to you? Thank you for listening. God bless. I hope you can still hear me. I've fully charged them this week. Right. Okay, we're going to throw this one out. What? Okay. As my next connection comes through, I'm very much aware that this gentleman, as he's coming through, is either very much showing himself a caricature of himself, or he is just completely a wind-up merchant and completely taking the mick. But as he comes through, I'm seeing a very, very... he's wearing a suit, but it's brightly coloured, and he's got like a straw... I ain't used this word on the platform ever before, and I pray I never will again. He's wearing a straw boater hat. For those that don't know what that is, if anyone's ever seen the people pushing a gondola with a stick, it's kind of like a straw hat that's got like a brim around it. It's like a little box type thing. But he's also showing himself kind of moving like he's one of those marionettes. And I don't know whether there's something to do with a marionette being an important memory link, or whether he just had a very different way of walking. But he does actually feel very charming, very light-footed. And I do know that there's this air of pizzazz and almost theatrical style about him. But there's something to do with this matching suit. The trousers and the jacket are kind of like either a purpley red and blue or a red and black. And it's kind of like this, they match. And he's wearing this hat, and it's almost to one side. And he's now got a cane, and it's almost like he's doing a dance. So either I've completely lost it, or someone's taking the mick out of me, or someone would know who this gentleman is. Please, God. No? Was that a go away, or was that a you might? Wow, okay. Right. I feel the significant bit for me was the way he's, and I've got it's a good job that I work for you lot, I tell you. In terms of the importance and significance, when he first connected with me, it was almost like I was seeing this marionette dance side on, and it was about the way the legs and the knees went up, and then the colour came in, and then the hat came in, and then he tilted it to one side, and then there was this, it's not necessarily a cane that you could walk on, but it's one of those flexy ones that you could muck about with. And that seemed to be the most significant part in terms of the initial connection. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Yeah. And it's as though he hasn't changed. And it's almost as though there were people that would have said when he passed, good luck, God. Because he would have been up there, people would have joked about him being up there, not changing, not being angelic, just being himself and completely, I've got to say it, tarting around. Does this make sense? Because as you've now identified yourself, I of course now understand why I had to throw it out, because I would have avoided you because we're related. But I haven't got the foggiest who this is, which just goes to show that when it comes to giving messages to people you know, never surrender and never give up, because they will give you something that you don't know about. And this is really, really quite strange. But as I'm drawn to you now, I can't remember what it's, I can't remember what the name of it is, but I just want to come over and jump on you and hug you. And you know that thing that we used to, I can't remember, there was a special name we used to use for it, where everyone used to pile on top of each other. Bundle! I want to yell bundle as I run at you. Does that make sense? Oh my God, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to run over at you yelling bundle. I just couldn't remember what the word was, but I could feel that. And I'm just made up for you. And I also want to congratulate you on not changing, on being yourself and not conforming like you were supposed to. Because he's actually talking about the way you're sitting. I feel that you'd have sat like that when he was around as well. But he's saying, I can't make up whether it's right or wrong, because at the end of the day, you're in a church, so you're probably not supposed to sit like that. But then we all do the meditating, and you're sitting in the perfect position for it. So I can't quite make my mind up, and it's apples and pears, really, isn't it? And I just want to get on like this. I've got to be careful because I'm only just recovering from a dodgy hip. Calm down, dear. I do feel that if I'd have met him in his physical life, and we'd have met in a way where we would have got on, we would have been exhausting together. Because we would have either been that old, careful. That old saying of getting on like a house on fire. We would have either got on like a house on fire or a fire in a house. It would have not been in between in any way. It would have been, but I do feel that the two of us together would be extremely exhausting for everyone to watch. And I'm getting really excited again. And I do feel there's something silly that he would have done with his voice as well. Because I can feel my voice changing now. And then, and he just turned around and he's gone, is that butch enough for you? So I just want to have fun and laugh with you and bring you up. And he's saying, just keep it up, kid. He's in awe of your strength. And this is where he goes really, really quiet. I am in awe of your strength. I am truly grateful for the thoughts you send out. But you don't need to worry, because I'm me again. I am myself again. And yes, I am giving the angels grief. Also quite a few other people, because now I'm able to spy on them and interfere in their lives a little bit. I'm also having quite a good bit of fun on that score as well. And the voice was coming back then as well, so I know there's some fun there as well. You would understand he had varied interests, and one of them would resonate with all of this, because I feel there's a sense of magic and mystery and myth and magic, that kind of thing. I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is, but there is a resonance there. And as he showed me that, he keeps showing me this symbol, and I can't quite make out what it is. Again, because I'm not wearing my glasses, you believe it not, but it's true. It looks like a cross between a flower and a police badge. It's kind of like that starry shape kind of thing. And I feel there's something in the middle, but I can't quite make out what it is. But I do know he's wearing it here. And he just wants you to know, proud. And I want to give you a really cheeky grin as well. Do not get me started, or we would be in big trouble if we knew it. There was no burning down the house. We would have been house on fire. Because he's doing a Catherine Tate's Nan impression now. And he's just standing there. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh my word! That one. I'm not going to go any further because I know how that conversation goes, and it always ends in a certain way that would get me kicked off the platform. And there's no bigger sin in spiritualism than to be thrown off your own platform. And she would, and I'd be proud of her for doing it, by the way. But she would, so I've got to be careful now. But and this gentleman would have known your mum and would have ribbed her, taken the mick. Because and he's kind of drawing parallels. I've got to be really careful because her mum's my cousin. But he's just going, and he's having, because she used to take the mick out of somebody else too, and he's getting his own back. So I do know, however, there was a lot of respect. And this is the important thing about him. He wouldn't have taken the mick unless he liked and respected you a great deal. That, above all things, earned respect. And I know that he is. Of course, everyone is. But I know people that weren't even related to him sorely miss him like a brother. And any other kind of relative that you can mention. But he wants you to know he's watching. He wants you to know that he's proud of you. And you have earned his respect. Keep on dancing. And I'll say God bless and thank you for listening. And I'm not even on the diazepam anymore. I know that as I make my next connection, whoever it is that's coming forward is very much a lot calmer and subdued and restful. And he came in and said, "You want a bit of a break now, mate?" And so I know that this gentleman, as he steps forward, was a lot calmer, a lot more paced, a lot more gentle in terms of the way he was in the physical world. I'm also aware that as he stands next to me, he's keeping his distance a little bit because he was a man of caution and all things in its time, and you had to do things one step at a time. Take it easy. There's that song. Take it easy. Take it easy. And I can't remember the next words, but I know the music. And as he says that, may I come to you? Would you understand the description in terms of personality, maybe even a connection to that song, and why I feel inspired to just... And I've got to tell you, the way I'm standing is exactly the way he wants me to stand. hand in pocket, hand on a button, just resting like that, and just standing here and going, hello. And it was literally, hello. There was I've got to say, there was a warmth, a calmness, a gentleness, a caution, but also an element of flirtiness with this gentleman. Especially the way he stood there and went, hey, you're right. No, but he was just flirty in general. And the way he's standing here, it's like, I'll let the world see who I really am. I don't mind. And this is something, he was so laid back, he was almost horizontal kind of in terms of letting people know the truth of him, even though he took a moment to get in, because to know the real him and the full him took time. But he had no problem with people knowing the real him. He was comfortable in himself. He was comfortable in his way of being and didn't always let the world hold him back from being him. I know that there was a time when that was a problem, but he learned from it, grew from it, gained strength, gained energy, and was able to stand on his own 2 feet and be comfortable in his own skin because of that. On a good day. But you know all about that one. It's not for them to know. I feel like I've got a lot in common with you. I feel like we're two peas in a pod that understand each other in ways that others wouldn't. And so, again, that word that I used over there, trust, was very, very important in how I feel towards you. Look, I've got to tell you, the way I connect with someone in terms of their relationship is how I feel as this person towards you. And I feel trust. That is the overarching emotion. I trust you implicitly with everything. And although you knew it, I don't think you always entirely 100% believed it and would question it from time to time. But please don't, because I can tell you on his behalf, feeling the way I feel about you, there ain't nothing I wouldn't have been honest with you about if I'd have known it. And I have to throw that in there because that's important. But you, come on. Well, hey, again, there's this charmer now starting to come back. We've touched on the emotional bit. Let's move on from that and bring the smiles back, shall we? And I do want to sing. I know I sung that particular song, but I feel like everything I want to do it in song, and I could just burst into open chorus at any moment. And again, the hand in the pocket, I feel it's almost like I should be having a microphone in my hand here and go, a bit like one of the 50s crooners. He gives me that kind of impression. He may not have been a 50s crooner, but he gives me that feel. And there's just this air about him with that. And he wants you to know, again, as always, not only is he watching, he's keeping note, he's keeping tabs, and he's keeping score. And that was the important one. It's not about watching and supporting, it's about keeping score. And I'm keeping score with you, young lady. And he says, you're doing great. In actual fact, very recently, he says, you got a home run and you didn't even realize it. It's almost as though he's giving me this impression that very recently you achieved a victory without even trying or realizing that you'd achieved a victory until the dust had settled. And it's in relation to Doors being closed. It is in relation to closing a door on someone. Does that make sense? I should have said, of course, my friends, if the curtains start twitching and the doors start banging, follow me. I'll be the first one out. I'm quite confident that that was the weather. But he did make use of the fact that it was a door to say that's more accurately where the home run came, is where a door was closed. It's not that he made the door closed to get me to do that. I will, no. But he would have loved that. He'd have been absolutely taking the what's it, because he just finds it funny. Because he found things funny that people didn't always feel funny themselves. He could see the funny side when people were deadly serious, but he was also deadly serious when people found it funny. And it's almost like he was, you know, there's another lovely word that people don't use often enough now, widdershins, the wrong way round. And he saw things very differently. And so he would have found that absolutely hilarious. And he'd have been sitting here. If I'd have been sitting in that chair there, because I'd have been sitting in that chair there, so I could have had my glass standing on the radiator, I'd have been kicking myself with laughter, and I wouldn't care who I offended. He's not the kind of person to share with someone like me anything overly personal, which is why I haven't said too much about his condition of passing. But I do know that as I was asking, there it is again, there's this very briefest twinge of something here. And that's all he's letting me have. It's almost as if to say, it's none of your beeswax, mate, sod off. So he wants you to know that he's very much around, very much enjoying seeing you in a new light and in a different angle. But keep going, be bold, be brave, and never give them an inch, my girl. And I'll say God bless you and thank you for listening. May I come to you? I have a lady with me, and I do feel that in my youth, you and her could have been like twins. Around here and around here in particular. The eyes and the mouth, I feel, is kind of like a genetic carry down in terms of themes of families. Some people, I mean, I've got my dad's gut and my dad's beard, and I've got my mum's side of the family's nose, also toes. But I feel with this lady and yourself, the way you're looking at me right now is very important. That slight sideways glance, with the eyes slightly closed as if to say, this lady, I've got to say, she's brilliant. She is lovely, she's funny, she's very, very gentle with me. I don't feel that she was always like that with a lot of people. I do know that if you wound her up, you got the sharp end of the slipper. But I do feel this maternal connection with her. So would you understand a grandmotherly figure like that so far? And I feel she keeps, interestingly enough, she keeps drawing me to your hair. I don't know whether there's something about the way you've got your hair that resonates with her, but she keeps talking about your hair in terms of the way you've got it down. Give me a second. It's almost as though she would have had similar length and similar shade of hair to you, but you would never have known it because she never She never let her hair down. It was always pulled back or pulled up or some sort of thing like that. Does that make any sense to you? Right, okay. We'll put a pin on that and hold it on the board over here. You would understand that this is on Dad's side of the family. You would also understand that even though I had a twinge over there with that gentleman, it's carried on and it's gone slightly higher and a little bit wider. And with this lady, I can feel it as though the whole of my side is in absolute agony with this lady. You would understand that that would be something that she would have experienced. Thank you, because now it will go. She made use of him, you know. I'll do an overlap, she says. And as soon as it gets understood and accepted, it gets taken away. So that's always good for me. Thank you. But so I know I'm with you, and I know I'm with this lady. So I know that you'll figure out the hair. Don't worry about carrier bag mediumship. I'm not going to put it in a bag and make you take it home with you. But if there is someone you can ask about never letting her hair down, it might even be symbolic in terms of her personality that she never appeared to let her hair down in public. But I know it's something about letting the hair down. But if there's someone you can ask about that, maybe in her younger days, she never had it down when she wanted. She's just shown me a photo of herself. And there is a photo with her hair down. Ah, thank you. She's getting... I'll tell you what, your grandmother's very specific. Because she's making me notice things that I wouldn't normally notice. There is a picture of her and her hair. On one side it goes behind the shoulder, and on one side it goes in front of the shoulder, just like you are sitting now. Thank you. See, this is the thing about going back and digging with them. It's about the position your hair is in, one behind, one in front. And she said, Nick, there's a photo for crying out loud. She was getting quite irate with me, I will say. But that's the bit about, feeling the other side of the slipper. But she felt it important that she come in tonight. She also wanted to be the last message. She's saying, I wasn't leaving you out and forgetting you. I wanted the final word. And she literally, would you also understand that she either shouted or had a hearing condition that made her shout? Because I know I've got a gob on me at the best of times, but I'm getting louder and louder as I speak. And it's like, I wanted the last word, dear. And I know it's probably more pronounced than she would have done, but it's still that kind of way she would have been speaking to. And it's almost like she thought you was deaf because she was moving her mouth so that you could lip read her, even though it was her that was lip reading you. And she just wants you to remember all of these things as fun. Because this is a lady who understood life. And she says the silly things and the fun things and the things that you laugh about when you think of me are what makes life better. And so I know that with this lady, she's referring to, I feel it's either a closer or more recent passing that would have had quite an impact on yourself. She's here on their behalf to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more comfortable to build you up to that connection. Because what she's saying is, what I've just said is their message to you. Remember the fun, remember the silliness, remember the laughter, because that is what takes grief into fond memories and into moving forward in life. So as much as she was a muck about what's it, she had this real, when you needed her, she was the one who had the words to say. And this is why she's been chosen to pass that message on. And I'm not getting any details about it because it's none of my beeswax and it's all your business and not for me to know. I was like, can you give me something else just to kind of, back it up a little bit? She doesn't need it backing up and you don't need to know. And wow, so you've got a real huge defender on your side in the spirit world, but also someone who cares enough to keep a little bit distant, but still get the message across to let you know, yes, I am all right. And I will leave their love with you. Say, God bless you, and thank you for listening. And thank you all. I apologise that we started late, but hey, the mediumship started on time, which is a bonus around here, I think, isn't it? Thank you all for listening. Hope you've had a good evening, good night, and God bless.
Where are they all going? Right, as you can appreciate, it's not easy to come in and do mediumship work. Even for somebody like Nick, I'd like to say a huge thank you because it was very, very last minute. So I think he's done an excellent job. So I'd like once again for Nick. Right, I think that, yeah.
Close. Hey, don't lead her astray. It's closing prayer then, Raffle.
Exactly. Who's in charge here? Well, at least we've had a few laughs tonight, and I believe that's what it's all about. It's about coming out, enjoying yourself, feeling at home here, and we're all family. So I'd like to thank you all very much for coming, and I'd like to Nick to just close this evening with prayer, please.
Well, friends, let's join together one last time for this evening at least. And I would just like to echo Eunice's sentiment. It is all about you coming out and being uplifted. So thank you for continuing to support this wonderful group that's yours. Great Spirit, divine universal source of all, we thank you for this opportunity to come together as friends, to blend under a banner of love and hope and friendship. As we go out into the world, let us take with us that banner of love. Let us take with us that message of continuity. And let us take with us that strength that together we are one and can raise the world into a higher vibration of love, of unity, and of peace. And so as we go out, we are reminded that in times of difficulty and in struggle, we do not ask you to move the mountain. Just give us the strength to climb and also help each other climb too. Until we meet again, in your name, Amen. If I may, Madam Chair, thank you to Eunice for stepping in at the last minute. I will keep everybody posted on how Daniel is and where he is. Next week and the week after is a very special couple of weeks because it's a double run of special services. I can't give you too much details about what's going on next week, but it will be special. And then, of course, the following week, it's Jean Pearson and Tony Swindles, the Revs, the two Revs from up north coming down. That's their annual visit. And then, of course, the day after, we've got the Walsingham trip for anyone who'd like to get involved with that. We're all going to go down to Walsingham. But the next 2 weeks are really important because it's the 13th anniversary of your church. Here's to the next 13 years as well. So I'll say thank you and give you back to your chair.
Thank you. I think that's about it for this evening. I'd just like to say once again, thank you all for coming. And for those of you at home, thank you for coming. Thank you for your comments. And we will hopefully, we will see you all next week. We are going to have a raffle shortly. So I would like this all to say a very good, nice goodbye to our friends at home.
After 3, 1, 2, 3.
Good night.